Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to have our panelists here today. So this is our SHESC Fall panel, and we're really focusing just on career paths and resources that we have available here in SHESC, as well as throughout ASU. My name is Dr. Karita Harrell. I'm a Associate Director for Student and Academic Services, so I oversee our advising center here and work with our faculty and our alumni and our other colleagues across the campus to help students have an amazing experience from their time here all the way to graduation and even staying in contact with our alumni. So want to welcome everyone today. And then just briefly, maybe just to have our panelists introduce themselves, and then we'll go into our formal program. So if we want to start with Megan.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan. I am a ASU alum. I graduated with my degree in global health in December of 2021, and I'm currently working as a HIV communicable disease investigator at the public health department.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Marsteller?
Hello, I am Sarah Marsteller. I'm a teaching professor here in SHESC. I teach a lot of online courses, especially in medical anthropology, global history of health, frauds, myths, and mysteries, an archaeology class, and a human origins class. So my interests are very diverse spanning across anthropology. And I recently chaired a committee of faculty that we put together a career readiness hub, is sort of which I will talk about today. It's sort of a special program designed to help students get prepared for their careers by taking action. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Thank you. Nyasha?
And good morning slash almost afternoon, everyone. My name is Neasha Stone Shepherd, and I am one of our assistant directors here with ASU Career Services. I'm also ASU alum and excited to chat with you all today about all of the great ways to connect with us and resources that you can use along your career journey while you're here at ASU and beyond.
Thank you. So if there are questions, please share that in the chat. We'll have all the panelists present first, and then we'll take some time for discussion at the end. All right, well, let's go ahead and start with our formal program. And so we're starting with Megan.
Okay, I'll go ahead and share my screen. I have a PowerPoint to pull up here. Okay, so again, my name is Megan. I'm here to talk a little bit about my career and kind of the pathway that I took to get here after graduating from ASU with my undergraduate degree in global health. So I'll kind of just go through a summary of my background a little bit and some of the experiences that I've had during my time at ASU and as a student, and then also afterwards as well. At ASU, for my undergraduate degree, it was a Bachelor of Arts in Global Health. I graduated in 2021, December of 2021. During my time at ASU, I did really take advantage of all of the internship opportunities that ASU really tries to provide for students. So I was able to do a summer internship with a Wellness Council of Yuma, and that one was primarily focused on health education, health promotion, and then infection prevention materials for them to be able to post on social media, in flyers, that type of thing. But then I also was in school at the start of COVID-19. So it was kind of the height of everything and all this craziness going on. But with that also came an opportunity for ASU students with Dr. Megan Jen at ASU to work with in partnership with Maricopa County Department of Public Health as a case investigator and contact tracer for COVID-19. So that was a really valuable experience that I was able to have at ASU. And then following my time at ASU, directly afterwards, I went straight into my master's degree program. I got my master's of public health and epidemiology from the University of Arizona. And at my time there, I did also take advantage of internship opportunities, and I was able to partner with University of Arizona, Banner University Medical Center, and then I was able to use my connections at ASU that I had previously made to kind of secure that internship. And that internship I did on neonatal opioid withdrawal syndrome and breastfeeding outcomes. And the internship that I had done during my time in grad school was primarily my interest had come from a lot of the classes that I had took at ASU. It's kind of where I was able to hone in on what I was interested in and what I wanted to focus on in grad school. And then as far as my professional background goes, when I graduated ASU, I went straight into clinical research. So I'll talk about it a little bit later, but one of my favorite classes that I did take in at ASU was a introduction to clinical research class. And I wanted to kind of see if that was going to be a good fit for me because I was, interested in both clinical research and public health epidemiology. So I wanted to kind of get experience in the areas that I could. So while I was doing my master's program, I was working as a clinical research assistant. And I eventually moved up to become a regulatory and quality assurance specialist. When I graduated with my master's degree, I decided I wanted to pursue public health epidemiology. So that's when I came to Maricopa County and started as an HIV communicable disease investigator, which is what I'm currently doing right now. And like I had mentioned, my time at Arizona State University, I had several classes that kind of stood out for me and kind of helped, I feel like, best prepare me for my current job and, post-graduation. One of those classes was the epidemics and outbreaks class with Dr. Megan Jen. I had taken that class right before I ended up doing that internship with her. And it kind of opened up like the opportunity for me to be able to build that connection first, learn about epidemiology and introductory level of it, and then go into the internship and apply to a real world experience. So I thought that was very valuable. And then some other classes, the introduction to clinical research, I ended up using that right after I graduated, all of that information. And it was, easy to be able to go into interviews and things like that with already a base knowledge as opposed to just going in there without any idea of clinical research and just the beast that it is. And the other classes that I took that just really interested me were maternal and child health. The other one, human lactation and breastfeeding, that one really interested me. Kind of those two classes were the ones that kind of inspired some of my research focus areas in graduate school. And then preventing HIV and substance abuse, that one was very applicable to my current job. And it really went over health education and infection prevention for HIV, which is obviously something that I use every day in my current job. And what kind of interested me in the first place about my choice to kind of go to global health at ASU was that it's a transdisciplinary program that kind of incorporates all different types of disciplines, and you're using those disciplines to address real world health problems. And I saw that in real time, while I was getting my degree there with COVID-19. It just ended up being very applicable. But the other thing that I really, really liked about it was that you're able to the curriculum is tailored in a sense to your own interests. So like you kind of see the key classes that I took, like those aren't necessarily like requirements. There's a whole list of different required courses that you can choose from and kind of decide what best, suits your interests and where you want to go with your degree after you graduate. So I really liked that about that. And it also helped me to kind of understand what areas of global and public health that maybe I was interested in, or maybe I wasn't interested in. So I did like that there's a lot of autonomy in choosing your classes. And going back to my current job, I am right now a HIV communicable disease investigator with Maricopa County Department of Public Health. My job is to identify, locate, and contact individuals with HIV and any individuals who may have been exposed to HIV. So with that, I'm obtaining epidemiological data through interviews and case investigations to try and elicit partners. So that we can reach out to those partners so that they can go get tested and hopefully break that cycle of transmission. And with this job, I do also do different community outreach events. I participate in them, especially in high-risk communities. We will go out, we're trained in phlebotomy, so we're able to do testing like right on the site if people want that. And, just making sure that there's the barriers that there might be to getting tested and knowing, your HIV status are limited, and that we're doing what we can to eliminate those barriers. And as far as some valuable skills that I feel like are applicable to really any career in public health, and that I feel like are really important to have, especially in a time that's fairly uncertain with, public health and the, job availability and opportunities that there might be. I think these are the skills that really stand out, and that's cultural competence. So having a good idea of different cultures and their backgrounds and understanding why, someone might behave a certain way, and tailoring, your approach to match those cultural differences. But then also communication. With public health, you're doing a lot of health education. So being able to communicate, the most up-to-date practices, guidelines is so important. And you also want to make sure that people are understanding what you're telling them at any point. But then also collaboration and relationship building is a big one. Right now, I feel like a lot of the opportunities and experiences that I have had are because I was able to, put myself out there, build relationships with different professors, and get the internship experience, stay in touch with those professors and the preceptors that I've had, to make sure that the door stays open, and that you always have opportunities waiting. But then also a really valuable skill is data analysis right now. So it's just across the field, it seems like that's something that is valuable, whether that be qualitative or quantitative data analysis, depending on kind of where you want to go. But at least that would be the case for epidemiology in particular. But yeah, those are kind of the things that I would say are important. And then Maricopa County Department of Public Health has an internship program for students. I reached out to the internship coordinator. Her name is Tatiana Gleason, and I have her email down at the bottom there. She let me know that the applications, they'll start accepting applications for spring 2026. On October 31st, 2025. And she said that some of those internships will have funding. So hopefully, some of them will be paid internships if that's something students are looking for. Then there's opportunity for that. But again, those applications will open up and they'll start accepting on October 31st of 2025 for next spring 2026. And it's all project-based work within various departments of public health. So those internships kind of vary depending on what department is holding that internship position. And then I just have my email here and my LinkedIn. It's just my name. If you guys are ever wanting to connect or just chat, then I'd be happy to talk with anyone, answer any additional questions, anything like that. I'm always available.
Okay. Thank you, Megan. So
Thank you.
we'll take some time at the end for questions. So, but thank you. But if people have questions in the chat, go ahead and put that in the chat, and we'll save those to the end. Okay. So we have our next presenter, Dr. Misteller, and so I'll just turn it over to you.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm going to talk today about the Career Readiness Hub that I mentioned in the intro that was recently put together by members of our SHESC faculty for students. So I'm first going to put a link in the chat with just where you can access the Career Readiness Hub through the SHESC website. And I'm going to show you what this here. So here's that web page. And you can just click on, I think, either of these buttons here. Will take you into Canvas. I'm already enrolled, but it will just pop up with a button here for you can enroll, sort of like a training course. It's just free. It's open to everybody. Any major can take this. And then once you're inside here, I'm just going to kind of walk you through what we have available in this space. So it's set up sort of like a course with modules and assignments, but there are no due dates or anything. It's all self-paced. And the aim really is to help you explore different career options, learn about different career skills and competencies that employers are seeking and how you can develop those, how you already are developing some of those through the different activities and courses that you're taking at ASU. And then it also can is a place where you can connect with all sorts of different career resources within SHESC, and then across the university and outside of SHESC as well. So we have, I'm just first going to go to this welcome page here. So this, sorry, starts with me explaining what the Career Readiness Hub is. But each of the modules, so each of the modules includes different video presentations by faculty in the School of Human Evolution and Social Change, along with different types of informational content and advice from us on as I mentioned, those topics like identifying a career path, developing career competencies, and translating your different experiences into statements that you can use in your application materials and interviews. And so we really stress throughout this that becoming career ready requires active preparation on your part. So it's one thing for us to tell you how to do all these things, but really what is gonna get you career ready is to get going on these things by working on these different activities that we have designed to help you do that. So I'll go through these different modules and just show you what's available in them. But just to give you an idea, the first one is on exploring and identifying a career pathway that fits your interests. There's lots of different resources available to help you do that. Module 2 looks at understanding in depth what the major career competencies are that employers are seeking. And how you can develop these while you're a student at ASU. Module 3 focuses on translating those experiences into statements for employers that demonstrate your abilities and skills. And then Module 4 connects you with all the career resources within SHESC across ASU and beyond. And then we also have a module at the end for students who are interested in graduate school. So provides information on what that application process is like, because it's very, very different than applying for your undergraduate degree, that application. And so then I just want to mention, because this is sort of a different space, how to use the Career Readiness Hub. It's designed in such a way that you could probably go through everything in like 2 or 3 days. But we also, what we recommend is sort of skimming through the content, taking a few days to skim through it when you're first are introduced to it, and then returning to the sections that are relevant to you and completing the activities. And we set up the activities so in such a way that we're envisioning that they're going to be useful to you at multiple stages of your degree completion. So we really encourage you to return to this again and again to continue becoming career ready as you're working through your degree. So the modules here, we have them here in a sort of an outline format like a course. And each one will have an overview and then some content from faculty on that particular topic, and then a set of activities. So let's just get this one really quick. So the overview gives you an idea of what the objectives are that we're presenting in this particular module. And then there's a list of the different activities, which you can jump straight to each of those activities, or in this link will take you to a spreadsheet here that explains what each of these activities are and what their goals are, so that you don't have to click through each one. And then, let's see, sorry for jumping around here. I'm just gonna go to the next button here. This will take you to the informational content. So the first one here is a presentation on career planning, understanding different career paths and how you can explore different jobs and internships and different tasks to help you with this, and then different resources. Okay, and then go back to the modules page here. So the second module looks at career competencies. So here's the overview for this one. So this focuses on the career competencies, which are the different combined skills and knowledge and behaviors that employers are seeking in job candidates. Most employers, there are these really essential career, like 10 career competencies that we've defined that are really essential across different fields. And so there's through this module, you'll learn what these are. And let me just pull up that. So this shows you, sorry, this is the top of the module content. So there's presentations on what these core competencies are. And then each one, we have another separate little mini presentation that shows you, talks about the competency, and then there's information here on what you'll be able to do as you develop this kind of competency. And then we also have a set of activities related to this. So to get you evaluating your current skills that you already have, planning your courses, and help sort of in a strategic way to help you strengthen your competencies and develop ones that you might need more work on, and reflecting on different ways that you can do that as well. Let's see. And then in module 3, we have translating the experiences that you are developing here at ASU for employers. So we have, I'll just sort of click through these here. This one, our main objectives are helping you to write effective statements, so things that you can use in things like your resume and your cover letter, different networking opportunities, developing your online profile for networking, and then preparing for interviews and career fairs where you can meet with employers. So we have all these great activities related to this as well. And the content is focused on teaching you how to write these kind of statements based on the experiences that you're developing. Sorry, here, let's go back to the modules. And then, so module 4 is really just helping you connect with different resources. I want to start here with the ones we have a number of resources within the School of Human Evolution and Social Change. Some you might already be familiar with, but there are lots of different things available, including these career panels like we're doing today. We have a research apprenticeship program, internships, research experience opportunities, study abroad programs and field schools, and different student clubs that are specifically tailored for anthropology and global health students that can help with networking and developing leadership skills and professional development. And then Nyasha will be talking about, I'm sure, about the different career resources that Career Services offers. There are a number of really excellent things that we've linked here, and she'll talk about more of that. The Future Center at the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences also has resources, and then we just have a number of different ways that you can connect and get opportunities while you're at ASU. And then our last one here is on resources that exist outside of the university. So things like a variety of different job and internship boards that are particularly relevant to anthropology and global health majors, as well as different professional societies that are really great resources for networking and different career development events and job search tools and so on. There are also a number of internships. There's other resources where you can find more exhaustive lists of internships, but we've pulled out a few here to highlight the ones that are particularly relevant for anthropology students to help get you started with that. And then our last module here is on graduate school, as I mentioned. So this one talks about what graduate school is and how to apply, how to connect with faculty regarding letters of recommendation, which are very, very important for graduate school applications. And then also how to make connections with faculty at different institutions that you're interested in applying at, how to identify funding options, and then creating those materials that are required for graduate school applications. So there are a number of activities here for this. Again, all of the different activities, we really encourage you, like, obviously it's way too much to do in a very short time, but like I said at the beginning, the idea is to be able to utilize the ones that are most relevant for you at the stage that you're at in your career planning and process, and to return to these again and again. So we as part of this, somewhere we mentioned that you should create a special folder on your computer and save all of the information that you're collecting, the different documents that you're developing, so that you can return to that. Once you have your degree, you'll have this set of materials that you've been working on and creating, and you can utilize that to help you with your different job application processes and such. So I will leave it at that.
So thank you. A lot of good, I think, information that really connected with what Megan shared in her presentation. Okay, so and our next presenter, Nyasha.
Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so are you all seeing career services? Wonderful. Well, again, good morning, everyone. My name is Nyasha Stone Shepherd, and today we are just going to be talking about all of the great resources that we have here at Career Services to help you along your career journey. So first I wanted to start with the idea of career being everywhere at ASU, right? I know that we just heard a little bit about this specific module and resources and opportunities that students have to connect within their academic unit. And that's really intentional here at ASU. We want to have the idea of you don't have to necessarily come directly to ASU Career Services to be able to think about what path you might want to take, right? You're in the classroom, you're participating in clubs and organizations, you are joining student organizations, you're doing all these incredible things while you're students here at ASU. How do we make sure that your career is being thought about in all of these different paths and opportunities that you're having the ability to do while you're here at ASU? And the reason why we do that is because a lot of people think that this is what their career path is going to look like, right? I'm just going to choose a major, and that's, I'm going to do some stuff, I'm going to earn my bachelor's degree, and then I'm going to go directly into my career. But in reality, we know that it looks a lot more like this. Your career is going to be influenced by your passions and your values and your interests, all the different majors and minors and certifications and the things that you're learning in classes now that you didn't even know existed. And so how do we make sure that all of your entire career path and your journey that you take to find your really fulfilled career that you're going to have is being taken into consideration regarding your career choices. So because of that, I just want to share a little bit about my own career journey, right? Just to help you kind of frame that. So I'm alumni of ASU. I graduated back in 2013. And when I was a student here, I thought that I was going to go into public relations. I really liked communicating with people. I really liked the idea of working with the stars. Being from California, I thought that it was going to be such a fun journey. And then I had an internship in that field and realized that it wasn't for me. But I loved being a student leader on campus. I loved helping students as they were coming into ASU during orientation. I loved being able to help direct people to resources that the university had for them. And then I have some really incredible staff that helped me while I was a student here at ASU with jobs and internships and different opportunities, right? Helping me with classes to take, suggesting what minors and certifications I might want to take to be able to help me along my career journey. So then and of all the student organizations I was a part of, all of those things helped me recognize and realize that I really had a passion for higher education. I didn't necessarily want to go the faculty route, but the student services route, as we think about all of the resources that we can help there. So, right, just thinking about all of the different paths and things from my first year and from maybe your first year or second year, how you've changed, and how you can really leverage and think about what those experiences are to make the correct choice for you. And so I mentioned, right, that there are lots of different things that you all might be thinking about, as you are on your career path and on your career journey, and just want you to think about how you can develop the variety of skills, not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom as well, right? We mentioned competencies and how these are the skills that employers are looking for as they are looking to hire interns and full-time students. And so if you're sitting there thinking, hey, I'm getting some of these competencies, which might mean right communication or critical thinking, or technology, I'm getting some of those things in the classroom, but I feel like I want to be a better public speaker, right? How can you leverage being involved in clubs and organizations? How can you think about the opportunities in a part-time job to be able to speak up more, or maybe be the lead of a specific project? So be really intentional with the things that you all are participating in, so that as you are preparing for their workforce, you feel comfortable and confident that you've gotten all the skills that you need to be ready for whatever career path you would like to take, and recognizing all of the different ways that you can get there. So I say all of that, right, just to kind of help you get that framework of the fact that there's no linear path, there's no specific way that you're going to get to your dream job, to your to the place where you find real fulfillment. And there are tons of different resources that the university has that you all can use to be able to help you on your career journey. So I will ask, and I'm going to try to see if I can see the chat as well, who has used ASU Career Services in any capacity? So whether that is scheduling an appointment with one of our advisors, whether that is attending a workshop, whether that is maybe going to one of our career fairs. Has anybody attended or participated in that? And or is there anybody that maybe this is their first time getting a true understanding of what resources ASU Career Services has to offer? And I'll give it a couple seconds just to kind of see in the chat here. Okay. Not yet. Perfect. I love that answer. Not yet, because one day you will. All right. Well, for those of you who have never used ASU Career Services, or maybe don't necessarily have the depth to understanding of all of the resources that we have to offer, we really are the one-stop shop for all things career for our Sun Devils, right? So that means that we are helping our students during one-on-one appointments for career exploration. That means that we are helping students search for internships, thinking about as students are graduating and preparing for their next stop, what jobs they might be searching for. Maybe maybe you are interested in going to grad school. How can we help you prepare for those different types of things? Maybe you have a resume, but as we mentioned, right, you need help tailoring that resume to a specific job. And maybe you're in your program right now thinking, I think I know what I want to do, but I'm not 100% positive on the ways in which I can really think about the skills that I have and how that can be translated to a job, or this specific company or organization. That's where career services is, right? We help students think about all of those different things, because it's a matter of not doing this journey on your own, right? You've got tons of staff support, you've got tons of faculty support. How can we make sure that you feel 100% as not 100%, but as confident as you can, knowing that you've done everything that you can do to be prepared. So So online and in-person services. So I think that this is really important, right? Because recognizing that we don't only serve our students who are on campus, but we also serve our online population. And because of that, we have tons of resources that are going to be offered online. A majority of our resources are going to be accessible at any time of the day. I always like to mention that and say that because our website sees the most traffic between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., right? When staff is not here on campus, we are sleeping, getting prepared and ready for the next day. But let's say you see a job that you're interested in applying for, or maybe you're thinking, hey, it's winter break. Maybe I want to start searching for an internship, but I don't really necessarily know where to start. Our resources are all available and accessible for you to use on your own time. Our advising appointments, right? Tons of different topics that we cover, about 15, in which you can meet one-on-one with one of our staff members to be able to have these appointments and talk about a variety of different places on your career path. We're all about career exploration and planning. So I'll mention as we go through a few different specific resources, some of the tools that can help you do career exploration and planning on your own. As we talked about right earlier, internship and job opportunities. Not only are our advisors being able to help you think about those things, but we also have the ability to really work with you and showing you through Handshake and some double career prep what different places for you. We know that some people already have a resume and maybe you already have a career, but maybe you haven't gotten started yet, or you need some help support. How can you be able to see some samples and really identify what you might need to adjust to make your resume stand out? Once you're kind of past that really resume place, how can you be ready and practicing for your interviews? And recognizing the power and importance of networking in terms of our career workshops, our career fairs, our different employer events, right? Because as you're building your network here at ASU with your peers and with your faculty and your staff, it's also important to really think about the connections that you're able to make with employers. So that as maybe you're not necessarily ready for an internship right now or a full-time job right now, but how do you start building those connections and asking those employers, hey, these are the skills that I have. Do you see any gaps in my experience and what would prepare me to work for this company or for this organization? And if you do, what are the things and paths that I need to take so I can fill those gaps to be ready for those different opportunities, and being really able to hear directly from the employer what they are looking for is really beneficial. And I'll just reiterate in the sense of not everyone's path is going to be going directly into the workforce, right? And so as we think about helping you all with grad school, we have a partnership with Princeton Review, in which you all as ASU students have the ability to get free test prep to get ready for the NCATs or the LSTAT or just general graduate school exams that you might need to have. And then, like I said, online resources that are really on demand to be able to help you all. So I'm going to talk about a few of the online resources that we have here at ASU to help you along your career journey. And one of them is Sun Devil Career Prep. So as you think about updating your resume and tailoring your resume to every single job that you are applying to, which is what we suggest, right? So that it is polished, that it very clearly states to the employer how your skills are really translated to the job that you would like to do for them. But maybe you're like, I don't even know where to start, right? This is my regular resume. I think it's good enough, but I need some support really tailoring it or getting this reviewed. In Sun Devil Career Prep, you can upload your resume, you can upload the job description, and it will give you feedback and let you know, hey, here are the gaps that you might have in your resume to really highlight some of the experience that this job is looking for. Maybe you've never created a resume before. Great. It will help you draft your initial resume as well. Let's say you feel really confident with your resume, but you need some help with your cover letter. It'll also help you draft and execute a cover letter for the specific jobs that you're going to be applying to. Let's say you feel really confident writing cover letters, really confident being able to tailor your resume to the specific jobs that you're applying to. The system also, based on your resume, will be able to suggest different jobs that you might be interested in. And then if you're applying to those jobs, it'll also track the progress of all of them. So if you applied, have you heard back from them? No. Are you going, and that means you need to follow up. Let's say you applied and maybe you got through a first round interview. It'll help you track all of those processes. So if you have specific goals in terms of I'm looking for an internship for the summer of 2026, I want to make sure to apply to 20 internships in 3 months. You'll be able to have all of that in one place. Mock interviews, right? So general questions, tell me about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? But the system also is able to tailor mock interview questions for your industry and the career for that career field that you are interested in. And then lastly, let's say, right, you go through that entire process, you get the job offer and you want to negotiate. The system also has some tips and tricks and best practices for you to be able to negotiate your salary or your compensation package for your internship and full-time job opportunity that you might get. Next thing I want to talk about is Forage, right? We talked about the fact that you were going to get tons of experiences, not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom as well. And I've mentioned internships quite a bit during this presentation, but not every single individual has the opportunity to participate in an internship, whether that's because you have a full-time job already, whether that is because you it just doesn't necessarily fit in your schedule. We wanted to make sure that we still had experiential learning opportunities for students that are paid and unpaid. But this is a free partnership that we have with Forage in which you can have what we call a micro internship, right? It's about 5 to 6 hours. You complete projects using relevant tools. These are built by different companies and organizations. And so that means that these are companies saying, hey, we're teaching you the skills that you need to be prepared for this type of role and this type of job so that you can really be prepared. And like I said, fitting it in your schedule. There's a great opportunity for you to only take 5 to 6 hours of your time to be able to complete this experience versus having to spend maybe a couple of months in an internship. It's absolutely not necessarily going to be the same, but definitely allows you to dip your toes in and get that experience and really learn. But we also really understand that not every single student knows what they want to do. And so how do we help you really identify where your interests lie, where your values lie, how your personality plays a role in the career path that you might want to take, the workplace preferences that you might have, and maybe it's hybrid, maybe it is something that allows you to travel, maybe you would like unlimited PTO, maybe all of these different factors, right? Pathway U is a series of assessments that allows you to, that creates an opportunity for you to see all of those different factors in one place. And so you can say, hey, my core value is really being able to work with people and help them. One of the interests that I have is working in the healthcare field. One of the personality type I have, right, might mean that, hey, I really don't necessarily want to be out doing presentations every single day or engaging in that way. I really want to be doing more research and back end and whatnot. How do all of those things apply? And then once it gives you the results, this is another system that also gives you some suggestions as to what career paths and what things that you might want to consider based on your interests, based on your values, based on your personality. And what's really helpful is it also allows you to see what things are going to be a really maybe good partnership and pathway for you, and what things might not necessarily be good for you. So for example, when I took the Pathway U assessment, one of the first things it said was that I would be good in healthcare. And I was actually super surprised by that, because that's never a career field that I really considered. But right, the policies, the procedures, the really structured thing, I was like, yeah, that absolutely works for my for me as an individual. But then it also really let me know, hey, being in something like technology probably isn't going to be good for you, really just based on your values and your personality. And it was really helpful to be able to see that, in addition to not only suggesting industry and career types, but lastly also being able to also have some job suggestions in there for you. I'm going to move on really quickly to Handshake and then job market insights. So as we talked about all the ways that you can connect with our office, how you can apply to internships, this Handshake is going to be where you do that. You can log into Handshake to schedule an appointment, apply to jobs, see all of the different career fairs and events and things that are going on around campus. If you're interested in talking to an employer and seeing what job opportunities and maybe doing an informational interview, all of those things are going to be on Handshake for you. So I would say that there's over 30,000 jobs and internships on the platform right now, and tons of available appointments. So if after this presentation you have some more questions or want to really deep dive into one of the resources, please make sure to log on to Handshake to be able to schedule an appointment with one of our career advisors. And then I'm going to go into job market insights just really quickly. So let's say you have a general idea of what career industry that you're interested in participating in, but you want to know more, right? What is what is some growth that you might be able to have in that industry? What are the skills that you need to have? Do you need to have a master's degree to be able to be successful in that industry? What are the different job titles that you might want to consider, right? So it might be project management. I'll use that as an example. Maybe it's a project manager, product management coordinator. Maybe the job is project manager, and it will give you those different options, in addition to listing the different companies with your job interests that you might want to start exploring, because those are the top employers of that specific job. What's really helpful is this is pulled by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So this is pulling all U.S. data and is updated in real time. And so it's as accurate as it can be based on information that's updated and can be really helpful for you along your job search. So just going to encourage you, right, to use our resources that are accessible anytime to support your career development. And lastly, really quick, just wanted to go over the variety of ways that you all as students can engage with employers. We, of course, have our career fairs and internships. They are held on every single one of our campus locations, in addition to virtually in this spring semester. But also there's employer panels that you can attend. We also have different site visits and job shadowing opportunities for you all as students to go to employers and see what it's like in the day of a life and have a general sense of what that company or that organization is all about, which can be really, really helpful for you to be able to decide what career path is for you, but also networking. And we don't necessarily do everything super, you're sitting there and you have to ask questions, but something like pickleball, like we're doing a pickleball tournament with employers in the next couple of weeks, and I think that will be really exciting to network and engage. So again, all of these things you can find on our career services website and through Handshake. So I know I spent a lot of time talking, so I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I think we're ready for questions, right, Frida?
Yes. Okay, well, thank you to all of our panelists. Just excellent information. A lot for, I think, all of us to think about. So if there are questions, you're welcome to unmute or post them in the chat if you prefer. So there's time. We have time. We have time for that. So I'll wait a few minutes.
And I will just say, right, this is a fairly rare opportunity, which you can get three people from a variety of fields with tons of different work experience. And so please don't be shy to ask any of the questions that you have, right? We want to help and we want to answer anything that might be burning in your brain. So just wanted to say that.
I guess to get us started, I'll go back to Megan. In light of all the things that we do have a question. So one of the questions is that was very helpful. Oops. So that was very helpful. Thank you. We'll look over the offerings for an appointment for next step. So great. Great. So at least an idea to schedule an appointment to go over all of the resources. So Megan, you talked a little bit about some of the different skills that were really helpful, and I think that also connects with our other panelists. Can you share a little bit more about that, like how you kind of developed that from some of the things that you were involved with, and maybe just some suggestions even for some of the students?
Yeah, so the skills that I had mentioned, I primarily developed them through my internship experiences, with exception of the data analysis. The data analysis I kind of had to develop more so in my graduate degree. So that was something that I knew that I was kind of missing, was, working with quantitative data analysis. But it's something that I found out as an undergrad at ASU that I was actually kind of good at. So just kind of like looking and doing like different classes is how I realized that if I want to go into, epidemiology, or within that field at least, that it would be valuable to have data analysis as, part of my background. And that further prompted then doing my research in grad school that combined both qualitative and quantitative data analysis. So that's kind of how I was able to develop those skills. But as far as things like cultural competency, communication, and then collaboration, relationship building, collaboration and relationship building was definitely from, it stems from, again, all of the internship experiences that I was able to have. I think that's kind of the key is making relationships with your professors, and then being open to different opportunities that they might have available, and keeping up with those connections, with the relationship building and collaboration. That again, it helped me in grad school because I had that connection back at ASU and was able to help kind of secure an internship with U of A, ASU, and Banner. So that was really helpful. And then I continued to stay in contact after I graduated with my preceptor. And now we're working on the final stages of getting that research published. So things like that, just kind of like making sure that I'm keeping up with my networking is important. I felt in furthering my career, but then cultural competency and communication, those two are skills that I have really developed mostly in my current job. It's something I'm talking to, patients every single day, and I'm building on all of those skills that I kind of had the baseline of while I was learning in my undergraduate degree, all of those things I was learning, and now I'm just continuing to grow on those skills. And I do feel like it's really important, especially when you're talking to so many different people from so many different backgrounds. It's so important to be able to communicate health education in the proper way and in a way that people are able to understand.
Thank you. Do any of the other panelists maybe want to comment on developing those skills, especially as an undergrad student or some of our freshmen or transfer students? And I know also students ask a lot about the data, or if that's important or if they need that for different careers. So if any of the other panelists want to comment on that.
I'll just echo the importance of networking, right? And staying connected with your faculty, and staying connected with your peers, right? Because you never know what paths that people are going to be taking, and where you might be able to help someone, or where someone might be able to help you. And I would strongly encourage you all to think about the fact that it's not just networking for kind of this transactional connection, like experience, but really building those relationships, right? Think of networking as just building new people, building new friendships and relationships. It doesn't have to be, scary, right? We've all had days in which we've met new people and then there are friends, right? And faculty who have been able to help us along our career journeys, and because you have similar interests and just are able to have those connections, right? I've gotten a lot of different job opportunities just because I'm still stayed connected with people who I knew in my undergraduate career here at ASU, in which, right, the last few jobs, people have reached out to me and said, hey, we would love you to apply to this, even though we maybe hadn't talked. And so just want to really just echo the fact that it's so important to network, so important to stay engaged, and stay connected with the people that you meet.
And I will just emphasize something that Nyasha talked about and also that we highlight in the Career Readiness Hub is that to just remember that well, first you already have a lot of career competencies that you've developed in some form, and that you, through all of the different activities that you're doing already, the clubs and just your coursework, but all kinds of, like, if you're in sports or any kind of your jobs, volunteering, all of those are different ways that you're developing career competencies in some way. So I think it's important to sort of take stock of what you already have done and how you like build on that and find what you're missing, what you need to strengthen. So sort of just do a self-reflection, self-analysis. We have some of those tools, and the Career Services has those tools to help you assess what you already have and then utilize the things that you've already doing to further build your career competency. So it's not so overwhelming to think that you need to get all of these different things, because a lot of it you already are doing. You just might not be conscious of the ways in which you're doing it, and you just need to think that through a little bit.
Yeah, like Megan said, right? Like Megan was like, I had to get my data piece from my classes. Like I wasn't necessarily getting through my internships. And so that's great. You still got a skill that you needed in just a different way. And I know, Karita, you asked a little bit about data and some of that data analysis stuff. I think a lot of it is also, right, doing that research. This is where those informational interviews come into play. This is where those using job market insights, right, come into play to say, like, do I need this experience? Do I need this skill? And how is it going to help me further my own career goals? And by talking to people who were in the job or who had the job once upon a time, that you're interested in having, can be really, really helpful in finding that information out and not just kind of guessing and thinking, oh, maybe I'll need it. Because that can work, absolutely, of course, right? If you're interested in it, get the experience. But if it's not necessarily something that you're interested in, right, being really, like I said, being really intentional with the skills that you're gaining so that you can that could be right for your own career path.
So I'll ask one more, but of course, if anybody has anything else to chime in, please again unmute or put it in the chat. Another question that we hear from students and from families is about getting a job, right? So that the world looks very different So I guess any of the panelists, do you want to comment on that of how you've had to change or recommendations? Because that's a concern for students, for families right now.
I can comment on that. So I when I graduated initially from ASU, I knew I wanted to eventually end up in public health, but I also was aware that like I needed more experience. I just graduated, so I ended up doing an entry level position in clinical research. So still, in a similar area. I had taken coursework in clinical research at ASU. So I had kind of that base level knowledge about it. And it also gave me an opportunity to see if maybe I wanted to do clinical research. Ended up not being the case, but I, at least got my foot in the door for experience in the same or similar field so that I could start building my resume a little bit and then get to, the job that I really wanted, which was the job that I have now. So just being able to kind of understand like the entry level position might not be exactly what you want, but it's at least getting your foot in the door and you're able to build your skills at that level.
Thank
I
you.
will, oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Yes.
I will echo that, right? It's not your first job does not have to be the job that you have for the rest of your life, right? But it's a starting point. It's a stepping stone. I will say, right, and Megan, I think you graduated last year, from your master's program, right?
2023, December of 2023. So just,
So
yeah,
year
not too
and a
long ago.
half
Yeah.
change, right?
Yeah.
Right, even the job market from then to now looks very different. And so I know I've said it 1,000 times, but this is where it's really important to network. We have some data on about 80% of jobs are filled through networking, through people that you know, right? Especially when you think about the fact of, hey, if I see a job that I really, really like, let's say on Handshake, and I am one of, maybe 400 students that are going to be applying to the same role, what's going to be more helpful, right? You could have a great resume, you could have a great cover letter, but if you have a relationship and a connection with that person who is in that company or with that organization, who can give you a referral, who can speak more closely to the skills, right? And outside of just a resume, that can be really, really helpful on your career, on your job search. And again, just stressing the importance of getting some of these experiential learning opportunities, right? These internships, these micro internships, because let's say you do an internship in a company organization, they might be willing to keep you on and hire you, right, for a full-time job opportunity once you graduate. And if they're not able to, maybe they have connections with organizations and people who can help you along your job search. But it's just really, really important right now. And in addition to keeping this network and starting a network and keeping the network early and often. We see a lot of students who are like, oh, I can get a job in a month. It's very rare right now. So the earlier that you can start, to do the search, to do your applying, to doing your research, the better. Because you never know when that right position and opportunity is going to be right for you, is going to show up. So don't wait until the last minute to be searching for an opportunity.
And I will just kind of jumping on that, I would say don't be too worried about finding like the perfect experience that is exactly what you want to do. Like, for example, I knew that I wanted to go into research. I wanted to do more in academia, and as an undergraduate, I studied fruit flies, and I knew I didn't want to study fruit flies for the rest of my life, but it was a really good way to develop research skills and to make connections and to get, a recommendation and that kind of thing. So it just, the perfect internship probably doesn't exist, but it's going to be a good way for you to make those connections and start building that experience. And so it's okay to have something that's not exactly what you want to be doing forever.
So thank you, everyone. We have about 15 minutes. So I guess maybe if each of the panelists want to say kind of your final words of wisdom um, to our group here, kind of to wrap up our presentation today. I think, or anything else you want to add, but your final words of wisdom that you would share with students. And whoever wants to go first.
I will just stress again to make sure that as you're thinking about, becoming career ready, to make it something that in which you're taking action, that you're not just reading about it and watching, videos about it, but like actively work on it. Figure like even if it's just planning different things, like take actual steps to, um, utilize resources and and take action to become prepared.
Oh, mine, Sarah. I will just say, please connect with all of the resources that you have, right? If nothing else, check out all of the resources that Sarah was mentioning. Check out the Career Services website. And again, they are available 24/7. So whenever you have the time, you are busy students, right? You might have full-time jobs, you might be going to school, you might have a family, all of these different factors, but these resources are accessible for a reason because we understand that it needs to fit in your schedule. So please, please, please utilize them and recognize that it's never too early to start to think about these things and take action, like Sarah mentioned.
And then I would say with the classes that you're taking, just take it like as an opportunity to kind of see what your interests might be in, within your degree. So that moving forward, if you end up wanting to look at different internships that might apply, or if you want to look into grad school, see if that's something you want to do. Just being intentional about the classes you're also choosing, and electives, whatnot, that might further your career and your interests. That would be my advice, aside from, of course, pursuing any internships or experiences that you can while you're given those opportunities at ASU.
Okay, well, thank you so much to each of our panelists. We appreciate your wisdom, your insight, your time. And like I said, we will be putting this on our webpage so that students can go back and review this anytime, or prospective students as well. So again, and thank you for our participants for coming today and joining us today. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.